Thank you very much, Dr. Joshi. And I take this opportunity to also welcome our eminent speaker, Dr. Urvish Joshi. Sir I, has a lots of experience in the form of publication, in the form of policy making, and also inspiring UG and PG students for the publication. Urvish sir, we are very much thankful to you for your time and sharing your communication with us in a mode of session. Why the thought came to our mind to have this session is that right now research has just become a formality. So we would like to enlighten the people that it is not just a formality. And when it will become a priority to people, when we have some reward, as I am from physiology and psychology says that there should be some reward or punishment, then things will happen either good or bad. So again, thank you, Urvish ji, for taking your time and enlightening us on the matter of regarding research that matters. Uh, Specifically, this applies to the administrator and senior professors that how you can encourage your faculty to publish significant uh, research in respective publications. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Ghanshyam.
Thank you, Dr. Ghanshyam. Am I audible? Okay, fine. Uh, First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Chinmay sir, for this warm welcome and this initiative to have this webinar for this research commendation program. When I shared the editorial with you, you were like you were so enthusiastic and excited that this must be disseminated across the nation because so many medical colleges face the issues related to recognition of good research. So thank you for taking this initiative. We all know you are quite dynamic and this is a brilliant initiative. Thank you, Dr. Ghanshyam, for a very warm welcome. Uh, as Dr. Ghanshyam said, I'll ask everyone to post your comments in the chat box if you are having any queries, because afterwards, in the later half of the session, the equation or the formula that we have adopted, it may just get a bit complex. So if you are having any queries, please just write in chat box and we shall take it one by one once the presentation is over. So let's start. Here with I'm presenting the research commendation program that we have formulated at our institute under the able guidance of our Dean Ma'am, Dr. Yamini Trivedi Ma'am. And it's basically a program which got conceptualized because of the gaps existing in the current NMC TEQ as well as NIRF institutional ranking framework, etc. Uh, let's see the importance of research first. I'll be going from macro to micro. So let's see how the government is positioning itself for research. As you can see, the GDP proportion is expected to hike up from 0.024% to 0.15% by the year 2047, which I just published a week before in my tweet. And this National Health Research Policy draft is already there, and it got locked before a week, I guess, and we may just expect the final version anytime soon. So whether we like it or not, but the research is the future. If we are in medical college or any teaching institute, uh, the importance and the weightage for research is going to go up only from here on. Some of us may say that we do not have the right aptitude for research and we should just be teaching. But then that ship has sailed. In future, all the faculties will be seen as a faculty teacher come researcher very strictly. That is, I'm not saying that the data and the numbers are saying that. Let's look at what NMC teachers eligibility criteria currently are. In last 15 years, these criteria have changed a lot. There have been so many iterations as well,
నేను
mainly
డ్రెస్
for
ఏం చేస్తున్నావు
promotions. Mainly for promotions. So,
ఏంటి ఎందుకు
uh, yeah. So there have been so many iterations regarding this promotion criteria. Currently, the iteration which is present says that eligible publication types can be original papers or systematic reviews, meta-analysis or case series, while currently NMC is allowing Medline or PubMed Central, Embase, Scopus, DOAJ and Science Citation Index as the valid indexation criteria for the journals in which we are submitting our research. Also, during each tenure for promotion, two eligible research publications are required from assistant professor to associate, associate to professor. And currently, first three authors are recognized as the valid authors for promotion in our published research. Earlier, there was the inclusion of first two authors and corresponding author, and it has kept on changing. There are so many iterations, even circulating in our own WhatsApp groups as well. So basically, these are the criteria which are laid down by NMC mainly for the eligibility of the teacher and for promotion. But then there are some glaring gaps as well when we are talking about the having a proper ecosystem for research in our institute. Say, for example, these criteria do not consider journal in which quartile the journal is falling or the citation impact or the if a paper is published by a student and teacher combined, then the mentorship is also not considered. Even interdepartmental collaboration is also not considered. Uh, Even the research hygiene, that is, each researcher has to maintain his or her ORCID profile in a meticulous manner, along with a standard affiliation, which gets captured by all the ranking frameworks globally. So these kind of research hygiene is also not quite considered in this NMC TEQs. Let's talk about the NIRF. NIRF is National Institutional Ranking Framework. Every year they run a cycle for all the Indian medical institutes, all the teaching institutes or all the institutes who want to participate in it. And NIRF basically scores the institute and not the faculty. And around 30% of this scoring is weight for the research component. collectively it is called research and professional practice, or RP, in which 40 marks are given to publications, 40 marks are given to quality of publications, that is citation or quartile, etc., and 10 marks for intellectual property rights, that is copyrights or patents, and 10 marks for projects and professional practices. So, and NIRF also invites the applications from the institutes in terms of HR and the bed occupancy numbers, etc. But the indexing part or the research component, it is automatically captured by NIRF on internet itself, and they basically scout through the databases of Scopus and Web of Science only two databases. And if publications from that particular institute are indexed over there, then they will be counted in the scoring patterns. So here also there are some gaps. If we are talking in context of establishing a research culture in our institutes, the first gap is basically it's not considering an individual faculty's contribution. Again, the mentorship component is absent. Again, the collaboration also is not quite considered. And the faculty members' developmental journey basically is not charted here. So we have come up with a program or a matrix, that is the RCP, that is the acronym Research Commendation Program, which basically takes care of what NMC also expects, what NIRF also expects, and at the same time, it prepares the faculties of an institute in such a manner that if they start participating in RCP, then their NMC criteria as well as institute's NIRF scoring itself will go up. So it's kind of a win-win situation for everyone. As we can see on the left-hand side, the eligibility lens of NMC, and on the right-hand side, the eligibility lens, or rather the institutional ranking under NIRF. And in the center, there are gap areas like corresponding author in position 4 or later is not counted anywhere, or outputs are not retrieved through extended databases beyond Scopus or Web of Science. Even the scholarly publications like books or book chapters or scholarly e-resources, they are also not counted. Student and intern mentorship is not counted, like I earlier said. Similarly, cross-departmental collaborations, similarly, research hygiene. So all these things are the gap areas. Along with this, as Dr. Ghanshyam also mentioned in the beginning, then there are some professional misconducts also we have been seeing across India in lot of our institutes also. And some at one point of time or other, we must have come across these kind of practices as well. So one is volume padding or salami publishing. That is basically salami slicing and converting a major project into multiple small projects and publishing all of them, or self-citation, or gifting authorship, or distant authorship to someone who hasn't even worked for the manuscript. And one is predatory publishing, getting paper accepted within 24 to 48 hours without any kind of peer review. So the person gets happy that my paper got published, but after 4 or 5 years, that journal will not be existing on internet anywhere, and that whole hard work of publishing the manuscript would go in vain. So these kind of professional or academic misconducts, research-related misconducts, are also quite prevalent in the existing scenario. And so we have to find out a common way, a common solution out of it. And exactly where RCP comes in picture, which takes into account the quality, responsibility, mentorship, collaboration, documentation, as well as visibility. So what it does exactly? So it's an institutional commendation program, local program. It is basically created on a transparent, reproducible matrix, and it's evidence verified recognition. And it is basically a positive recognition of responsible research behaviors rather than any negative recognition. If you can see on the right hand side of the slide, this is very important for us to clarify right now. RCP is not a faculty promotion rule. basically we are following the NMC TEQs only. It is not a faculty promotion rule. It is not even employment appraisal at our institute. It is some private institutes are having their own research appraisal and research linked appraisal systems already in place. This is not it. An institute is free to adopt RCP in that sense. That is not an issue. It is also it's a substitute. It is also not a substitute for NMC or NIRF criteria, and also it's not public ranking, and it's not at all a naming and shaming exercise for people who are not quite on their journey to publishing research papers. So basically, it's just a recognition. It's not a sanction, and that is a organizing principle that we have created this with. This is how we go in RCP. There is a Google form which is circulated to all the faculties. It is kept as a QR code at all the prominent places in the college and hospital. One, as and when one publishes a paper, he has to fill in this Google form. Once the cycle is over, the committee will sit and will clean this data. For example, some people may have contributed 5 papers, and during each paper they might have written their spelling in slightly different manner. For example, Dr. Urvish Joshi, Dr. dot Urvish Joshi, Dr. Urvish K Joshi, or something on these lines, or even the DOI numbers. Some people might have entered the DOI as HTTPS slash the remaining, or some people might have just entered the DOI with just 10 point something. So this kind of cleaning has to be carried out by the committee. Then it is the evidence verification, which is done based on the DOI of paper indexing, quartile status, authorship, and the supporting document, which is uploaded via Google form only. In the last step of the Google form, we have provided a Google Drive linkage where person has to submit the full text article before submitting the full form. Then the deduplication happens if someone has by mistake entered more than once same paper. Then the row scoring, every row is scored based on the matrix, which I shall be talking about afterwards. And then a faculty-wise aggregation of all the scores are calculated. And based on these scores, all these faculties are divided into 4 recognition tiers. I'll be explaining these tiers also later on. And based on these tiers, certificates or medals or trophies are to be awarded to the faculties. This is how we did in our college. So we just started in February 2026. And first of all, the affiliation syntax, ORCID, and research hygiene and continuous reporting requirements, everything was communicated to the faculties via college circulars. Institutional sensitization meeting was also ordered, in which we invited minimum 2 faculties from each department. We provided a proper advocacy and sensitization of how we are going to take this program forward, and which are the friction areas, or which are the possible difficult areas. Everything was communicated to them. They went back to their departments, and they did the hand holding of rest of the staff. Thereafter, we came up with a Google form, which I already mentioned. We also decided that for this one cycle, we had to clear a backlog. Because of multiple purposes, we wanted a repository of all the articles also. So we started with 2022, 1st of January till February end or March beginning 2026, basically 3 to 4 years of data. And all the faculties as well as students were asked to start filling in the data. Thereafter, the RCP committee was constituted, and this committee basically refined all those things for 1 month. At the end of March 2026, this committee sat together. They cleaned the whole data. All the evidences were verified manually, and scoring was given based on a pre-formulated metrics or the formula. And then based on that scoring, recognition and felicitation was carried out in early April. There were three things which actually made this a success for us. One was public, it was all public, there was nothing hidden. Mainly because of there was a great visible support, encouragement, and motivation from our dean for this program, that something on these lines should be done in our institute. Then second was there was only one Google form. There were not multiple Google forms or multiple QR codes where one can get confused. It was very simple. And all the rules also were communicated very clearly, even in our institutional research cell. The whole rule book as well as the SOP is printed on large prints, and they are stuck on the wall. Any faculty who wants to refer to those SOPs, they can just walk in the institutional research cell and they can refer to it. This whole process was it was assisted also. So all those faculties who were trained, they also helped a lot. Also, the live demonstration and troubleshooting was continuous throughout the process, as well as the liberal backlog inclusion during the first cycle we adopted. I already said that that is from 2022 to 2026 beginning. It was also conflict neutral. There were so that there are no pain points. So traceable scoring mathematics, it was communicated with everybody. It was not hidden that the college will decide that who wins or who doesn't win. It was all open and transparent metrics. Then the committee reviewed the disputed entries as well. And the recognition for every valid contributor was given. It was not like some contributions were just plainly discarded. If they worse come to worse, they fell into the lowest category, but we still recognize them. And there was no public shaming, naming or shaming done in this whole exercise. Now let's come to the micro part, that is formula. This is what we adapted. It is indigenous and self-designed at our institute. And we have done some iterations of this formula as well in order to make it foolproof and future-proof as well. But still, it is evolving, and with every passing day, some faculty come up with such queries that, okay, then we have to tweak this formula in such a manner that it incorporates those queries as well. So as you can see on the top half of the slide, the formula is the row score. The row score, basically, that is the each contribution score, each publication score is equal to base index score multiplied with scientific rigor multiplier. And this product thereafter would be added with quartile bonus and author position score. And the cumulative product will be multiplied with volume saturation multiplier and a few add-ons. I'll be explaining all these things one by one. It's very simple as such. So first is base indexing score. That is the indexing of the publication. So if someone has published an article in PubMed indexed or Scopus indexed or Web of Science indexed journal, then the score would be 40. Now for MBase, DOAJ or journals listed in UGC CARE 2 list, then the score would be 20. If the indexing is Index Copernicus or any other indexing apart from these two tiers, then 10 marks. And thereafter, for new journals or for completely non-indexed journals, the scoring would be 5 marks for each contribution. Second would be the scientific rigor multiplier. So scientific rigor is nothing but the type of article. So if someone has contributed with original research or systematic review or meta-analysis, then the base index score would be multiplied with 1, which means complete translation. If it is a case report or case series or letter to editor, then it will be multiplied with 0.5. And if it is editorial or commentary or viewpoint, then it will be multiplied with 0.25 or 1/4 of the total score will go forward. Now, in tier 1, the articles which were published in a journal which had tier 1 indexing, that is PubMed, Scopus or Web of Science, then the quartile profile also would be considered. So if the journal is falling in Q1 category, that is top 25%, then 40 marks. Q2, that is 25 to 50% journals, then 25. Q3, 50 to 75%, then 10 marks. And Q4, that is from 75% to 100%, the lowest tier, then 5 marks for those quartiles. Now, if we talk about the authorship position, then the first author would be receiving 20 marks. Corresponding author also in our matrix would be receiving 20 marks because globally, internationally speaking, corresponding authors are considered to be as important as first author because they are the custodian of the data and they are responsible for all the communication with the journals. And all the standard practices reward the corresponding authors as much as the first author, if not more. Curiously, NMC's current criteria they do not recognize the corresponding author, but we have taken the liberty to correct that in our own matrix. Second author would be getting 15 marks. Third author would be getting 10 marks. And after that, from fourth author onwards, the marks will be significantly low. For fourth author, it will be 2 marks. And for fifth or later authors, it will be 1 mark only. So basically, it's a token, but it should be there. Something very interesting we established in our matrix, which is this volume saturation matrix or volume saturation multiplier. What happens sometimes, we would be knowing people who would be publishing a lot of articles like paper mills. And but all those articles would be either in the tier 3 or tier 4 kind of indexing. So just because of the sheer volume of those articles, he should not be getting the undue advantage of RCP. So for the same, we have established this volume saturation also, in which if the article is published in tier 1, then n number of articles can that author enter in the Google form, and there will be no decay if it is tier 1. If tier 2 journals they have chosen, then first 5 publications will be getting full marks. Publication 6 to 10 will be getting half the marks, and publication 11 onwards they will be getting 0.25 marks. Similarly, for tier 3, a slightly more stringent criteria here. Publication 1 to 3, full marks. Publication 4 to 5, half the marks. And publication 6 onwards, only 0.1 of the total score there so far. For tier 4, we haven't applied this volume saturation multiplier, mainly because they are already getting very low marks, and there is no, based on our experience, there is no need of applying this volume saturation multiplier in people who are in tier 4 of indexing. There are two more add-ons that we incorporated in the formula. One was student or intern co-authorship or mentorship. If a paper is having faculty as well as a student or intern, then +5. And if there are cross-departmental collaboration, for example, I am in community medicine. If I publish a paper with medicine or surgery or pedia or biochem or anatomy, then there will be that paper will be getting +10 marks. So that is cross-departmental collaboration. We haven't restricted ourselves only till research publications. We have also taken into account the books. So if someone has authored a complete book, then 30 marks. If someone has edited the whole book, then 30 marks. If someone has contributed to a chapter in a book, then 10 marks for each chapter. And all these has to be verified with ISSN or ISBN numbers. If someone comes up that I don't have ISSN or ISBN numbers, but the resource is genuine, then he or she would be getting 5 marks. If that resource gets converted into ISSN, ISBN later on in the same cycle, they would be upgraded to the upper tier of the same scoring. Similarly, for intellectual properties, copyright filed gets 2 marks, copyright granted 10 marks, patent filed 5 marks, patent published 20 marks, and patent granted 50 marks. Research grants, so 1 point for 5,000 rupees that we have established mainly for the extramural grants. That is Intramural grants, the institute is providing any funding for the research, we are not counting that. If someone is bringing outside money to the institution or to for the research purpose, then that is also rewarded. So 1 point for every 5,000 rupees brought in. Every cycle for the cap decided for this is 100 points. I'll just try to recap the previous slides once again, starting with authorship and volume saturation. So in authorship, first and corresponding authors get 20 marks, second author 15, third author 10 marks, fourth author 2 marks, and fifth or later, it can be fifth or even 15th, then also 1 mark only. The volume saturation multiplier is basically if someone has published so many articles in just one cycle, then we will look at the tier of those publications. So if all the publications falling under tier 1 will not be incurring any decay in the scoring. 5 publications in tier 2 will also would not incur any decay, but publications 6 to 10 would be getting half the marks, and publication 11 onwards would be getting 1/4 of the marks. Similarly, in tier 3, slightly more stricter. First 3 publications will be having no decay. For publication 4 and 5 will have half the marks, while publication 6 onwards will be multiplied with 0.1. Add-ons, student inclusion in the research, then 5+ marks, and other departmental inclusion, cross-departmental collaboration plus 10 marks. Similarly, I just spoke about the books and the scholarly resources, the intellectual property, and research grants as well. So basically, broadly, this is what we did. There was an intake, there was cleaning of the data, then publication checks were done, then other research outputs were also considered, and then the committee reviewed everything with a traceable, reproducible, transparent metrics. It was all credible recognition in which we adopted the evidence first policy. In the Google form only, we would be inviting the full text submission. All the claims were verified manually. The incentives were protected all throughout, not only for first 3 authors. And there was a structured review of everything, whatever was submitted by the faculties. I'll again show the formula which we followed. Now this formula is the same formula that I showed in the beginning. Basically, each row would be scored based on base index score multiplied by scientific rigor multiplier, and this product will be added with quartile bonus and author position score, and this cumulative product will be multiplied with volume saturation multiplier, and there will be 2 add-ons also for collaborations. I'll just give you a quick example. So for example, someone has published an original research in tier 1 journal in Q1 journal as first author, and also there is student mentorship inside that paper. Also, there is cross-departmental collaboration in that paper. So basically, this is an ideal submission in which a single submission would incur highest 115 marks. But if original research published in tier 2 or no without any quartile, because the quartiles are given only by Scopus and Web of Science. So if there is no quartile applicable for that journal, if he is second author, then the score will drastically come down to 17.5. Now, if the original research is published in tier 1 journal, Q1 journal also, but as a fourth author, then the saturation position also will be applied and the final score will be only 2. This may just sound a bit complex, but at the end of the session, I'll be maybe in the chat box or maybe via our emails, we shall, whosoever is interested, we shall be happy to pass on our SOP as well. So no need to get confused right now. Please just write all your queries in the chat box. So this is the evidence I would like to talk about at our own institute. In the backlog clearance cycle of last 4 years, we basically got 465 publication submissions from 115 faculties across 20 enthusiastic participating departments. and which we cleaned and we distributed them into different tiers of recognition. Now from this year onwards, it will be January to December. That will be one cycle. These four categories we used. The topmost was certificate of outstanding excellence, followed by certificate of excellence, then certificate of merit, and certificate of recognition. So it was not initially we thought like putting up the categories like gold, silver, bronze, platinum, etc. But again, it didn't sound right. Also, we didn't want to introduce a kind of a mad rat race inside the whole premise about this recognition. We just want to encourage everybody whosoever is publishing in whatsoever journal. This is exactly why we have kept these kind of terminologies. Earlier, we have thought about punishing the predatory publishing also. If an article is submitted via Google form, but that journal is a predatory journal, then there would be minus 50 marks as well. But we haven't applied that in this backlog clearance cycle. We shall be applying that from the subsequent cycles now onwards. So this is the just some photos of the tier one, that is outstanding excellence faculties who scored in that tier. They were rewarded with the certificates by our dean ma'am, and they were also sensitized about how this whole program worked, and it was received in a very, very positive manner. Our next step is going to be the interdepartmental scoring, which is a slightly tougher task, mainly because some departments are low in number of faculties, and some departments may be having, for example, medicine surgery would be having 40, 50 staff. Some departments like anatomy or dermat may have less than 10 staff. So how to put all the departments at a level playing field without incurring any bias, that is our crux in developing this matrix. Some of you might be wondering why we haven't included H index or impact factor of the journal as used by some private institutes in their own research appraisals. The idea is, for example, H index. So H index is directly proportionate to the number of service. If a faculty has done job for 10, 15 years, obviously he or she would be having so many publications. So the H index is going to be slightly higher than just a early career research professional. So H index that way was not applied. Similarly, impact factor. For example, a journal from anatomy, top journal from anatomy may have impact factor of just 2, while a top journal from medicine might have impact factor of 20. So basically, impact factor evaluates the journal and not the faculty. So in order to bring everyone to a level playing field, we haven't included these kind of indices. So all this RCP, whatever we have discussed so far, it is already published in National Scopus Index Journal as an editorial. And I would like to thank our institutional head, Dr. Yamini Trivedi ma'am, for wonderful leadership for this and for encouraging all of us. I also would like to thank my team, that is Dr. Bhargav Dave from my own department, Dr. Halak Vasavda from pediatrics, Dr. Krutarth Upadhyay from physiology, and also our mentors, Professor and Head Community Medicine, Dr. Sheetal Shrimali ma'am, and Professor and Head Pharmacology, Dr. Gursharan Dungra ma'am. So, like I said earlier, this SOP we would be happy to share with you. It is still in evolving phase. To each his own. If an institute feels that no, we need to weigh certain thing more and certain thing less, they are all totally free to do that and adapt the score accordingly. It's all it's a democratic democratic country, and it's a free matrix. You can adapt however you wish to. With this, I would like to conclude this presentation, and now we shall take all the questions. I'll also try to see some of the comments and shall try to answer them all. In the meantime, over to you, Dr. Ghanshyam. Yeah. Just a minute. Yeah. Tell me. Yeah, so that's a discrepancy, and that discrepancy is totally beyond the scope of this RCP. RCP is just institution specific, and it is how an institution wants to reward its researchers. It's not about promotion, it's not about GOG acceptance or NMC acceptance. It's all about how the institute wants to look at its own faculties. Yeah, why not? Whosoever is interested can reach out to me. Just a minute. Let me just share this. Hold on.
Individual faculty also, sir, can be done.
Yeah. This is for individual faculty only, sir.
Okay, sir. From any college. Not from
For any
Okay.
college. For any college,
Yeah.
sir. So from our own experience, we have established that this matrix actually works and works like a charm. Those whosoever wants to get in touch and wants to have this SOP can just connect with me on LinkedIn or Orchid or my Twitter, and we'll be happy to disseminate this. And that is exactly the purpose of this dissemination webinar, as Dr. Chinmay sir rightly said in the beginning, that the knowledge shared is knowledge gained. So
Okay, sir.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Urvish, sir, it is a very informative and a very good concept to foster the culture of research, as very nicely mentioned. And we are happy and privileged to work with Dr. Chinmay Shah, sir, who is also one of the pioneer person in research uh, across the Gujarat and Pan India. But RCP is a good concept. But one of the motive of promoting the research culture or any faculty who will go for publication is a recognition. In recent past, it happened that one of our AP was eligible to get promotion for associate, but due to mismatch in the criteria between the state and NMC, it has been rejected. So at least we should consider this as one of the motive, because if there is discrepancy, it will dilute.
That's exactly the point, sir.
I know it is not the sole motive of RCP, but you should also not keep it away, because otherwise who will do the research?
So that's exactly what we are trying to address here, that we have de-linked this from promotion criteria. But at the same time, if someone is getting recognition in RCP, he would be following such practices. For example, I'm not even talking about the indexing discrepancies at state level or NMC level. Just simple example, Orchid. How many of us actually maintain our Orchid meticulously? How many of us have even seen the proper affiliation of our institute enlisted in Orchid properly? Because it is quite relatable with NIRF also. So this and in RCP matrix, these kind of things were having fixed scoring. For example, 5 marks if Orchid was there, 5 marks if affiliation was correctly mentioned. And I didn't even mention all those things here, because we didn't want to overwhelm the audience with extra minute details. I can completely understand with your query that there are discrepancies and the promotions are stalled and the faculty may get discouraged. But that is exactly why the institute should reward its researchers. And that is exactly why the RCP programs like RCP should be adopted at institute level.
Okay. Partially sort out, but it is I think a different issue.
We may just take it up on a call.
Urvish bhai, thank you. Dr. Chinmay here. Thank you very much. And I must appreciate your presentation style and each and every slide also, along with the content. And
Thank you, Chinmay sir.
do share your policy with the Ghanshyam sir. We will put in our HOD meeting. And if all HOD agree at my college, I think at Bhavnagar we will be ready to
adopt it. I know being a government we cannot reward monetary, but we will find out something by which we can reward the people who are doing good.
Yes,
So
sir.
do share your policy with the Ghanshyam sir.
Absolutely, sir. I will do that. In fact, we also fall under Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation Medical Education Trust. So those severe monetary benefits are not provided in RCP. We are just making do with certificates or trophies for now, and the public recognition, and that is it for now. But we may just think of something novel also in future. I will be sharing the SOP with Dr. Ghanshyam for sure. Thank you for appreciation, sir.
Thank you very much.
Uh, yeah, please. I think that's beyond the scope of this session. It's a yeah,
See, morals can't be taught.
absolutely. They have to be imbibed, and I think Dr. Chinmay sir has provided the answer succinctly in just one line, and that is it. Uh, if you want to identify these kind of journal articles, then there are various tools also which are available. But again, like I said, we may have just a few minutes left to close this session. And one can get in touch with me. I will be able to describe all those mechanisms by which we can identify such things. Some one query which I'm passed on is IJAR journal, whether it is recognized or not. See, there are millions of journals globally and even in India. And if you want to just see whether your journal is recognized or not, you just have to, now with the advent of AI tools, it's so easy. Otherwise, just go on Scopus or Web of Science or PubMed and all the explore all these databases and their recent updates, and you'll get to know which journal is recognized, or rather which journal is having what indexation or what Q profile, etc. Based on the indexing, you just have to match it with the NMC's criteria for promotion. For NIRF, it is all different ball game.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to know, after all these exercise at the commendation cell, did you get in touch with your institutional review board or the ethics committee who review the research proposals at the outset? So, did they found any help from you in the form that they could improve the proposals before the study begins?
Which is a
So
very good,
yeah, did you do this also?
which is a very good suggestion, ma'am. We can actually do this as a next phase, and we
Mm.
can start working in close collaboration with IRB or IC
Mm.
in order
Because I think
to.
the cell must not limit itself just at scoring the performances, but also
True,
later on
but
all further researches must improve from that point onwards.
absolutely. But ma'am, then there may be questions like, for example, I'm big on conducting systematic reviews and meta-analysis for which I do not require any IRB clearance or IC clearance. So those kind of reviews will never go to IRB. So if we want, we definitely can work in close liaison with them
Yeah, but I think most of the researches would be going
for
through.
the
There
for the
would be
original
very
research.
small
Yes,
percentages which will go through the
yes, yes, yes.
data analysis.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Good,
think
good
that would be
suggestion. Thank you,
helpful.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you once again, Dr. Chinmay sir. Thank you, Ghanshyam. Thank you. Goodbye.
Recording stopped.